We started off our day at the Westgate Hotel in Ximending and had the included breakfast. One nice twist to this breakfast was that it had some milk tea. So Taiwan is famous for milk tea, and compared to other countries I've been to, I've never seen it included in a continental breakfast. Pretty light since we were expecting to get some street food outside in Taipei as well. I chose this hotel since it was convenient to the Ximending MRT, and then I chose Ximending since around 6 years ago I went to Taiwan and I stayed in Ximending in Taipei and thought it was a interesting spot to revisit. Also, if you look at a map of Taipei, Ximending is on the green line that runs east to west on the city. So if you ever want to go to Taipei 101, it's on a direct line. A lot of the major sites are also on the same line as well. And if you want to go even to Jifen, it takes you conveniently towards that direction on the same green line. So overall, it's a pretty convenient spot in Taiwan, in Taipei rather. This area is the main kind of area in Ximending. Kind of reminds me of Shibuya in Tokyo. It's kind of the main thoroughfare. And it even has this street area. It's kind of a youngster district or for younger people. So you'll see plenty of fashion brands here aimed at younger people, and then also some street markets. If you've ever been to Tokyo, it's similar to something like Harajuku. In Korea, Seoul, I've seen Myeongdong, which kind of reminded me of that. There's quite a bit of focus on fashion here as well, just like those districts. So if you do your research around this area, it says there's a night market. It's not really a Taiwanese night market. There's a few street vendors here, but this area is more famous for the fashion, and then it has some restaurants here which I think are pretty famous. We've tried the mango-shaped ice place, which was down this street here. It's pretty good. There's different kind of cuisines here you can try as well. One thing I'd recommend though is to try and find the Easy Card. It's used for trains and buses in Taiwan. We stopped by a few convenience stores before we found a store that was able to sell us one. So I'm not sure if it's actually at the airport. I think it is, but we arrived pretty late, so a lot of the counters were closed. But if you can get that at the airport, that's probably more convenient than trying to hunt around for a convenience store. The streets here are pretty empty during this time of day just because it was in the morning. In the evening, it becomes a lot more busy. So if you want to try some of the more popular stalls and foods here, coming in the morning is a good bet because there aren't as many people. And coming up here is the mango-shaped ice place. We tried it on our last day, and here's where we buy the Easy Card. So this is what it looks like. They have a few different designs here that you can choose from. Makes a nice tourist gift as well. So you can grab this and, make it a magnet on your refrigerator, for example. Ximending is full of narrow alleys, but this part is the main road, and it's pretty wide. So if you're over here, it's kind of easier to navigate and get to the MRT. Coming up here are two famous food places. So there's flour, rice, noodles. We tried that on our second or third day. And then this is a bubble tea or boba place. It seems to be the most popular one in Ximending. It's got a very central location. Especially for this place, I'd recommend coming early if you don't want to wait in a huge line. The bubble tea here was a bit different from other bubble teas I tried. It's a little bit more like a creme brulee. I grew up in Los Angeles, so in Southern California, there's quite a big Asian population, so I grew up having bubble tea. And yeah, I'd say this particular bubble tea was definitely a lot thicker than the ones I was used to back home. I live in Singapore right now, and bubble tea is huge over here. I'd say that's actually a more standard bubble tea, what I'm used to from back in LA. But if you're a fan of bubble tea, I think coming to the source, Taiwan is the source of bubble tea. They have so many different varieties, so it's something interesting if you're a bubble tea lover to come here and try the different types. So at this point, I go on a little bit of a walking tour here of the Ximending shopping area. You can see it's a bit more lively here since the shops are opening. Just waiting for my friends to come. So if you're interested in seeing this area, I go through a lot of the shopping area, the back streets of Ximending. This area is towards the end of Ximending. So the main area has a protected pedestrian walkway, so there isn't as many cars and there's some scooters that are allowed. But once you get towards the end of the area, then it's just regular streets, so that's why the cars are here. This area had random stores selling dresses and clothing and makeup, so it seemed like this whole area was kind of sharing the same theme. It's kind of going towards the main part of Ximending again. On this street, they had a Japanese chain called Skia and then a US chain called TGI Fridays. So not surprising, there's probably a huge amount of tourists that come here and frequent those restaurants. Here I'm entering Don Donki, which is a Japanese goods store. It has random goods. It's kind of like a 99-cent store and a grocery store all smashed into one. It had a huge store here in Ximending, and you can see kind of the theme here is it's a lot of colors, a lot of crazy kind of pictures, and it has this penguin mascot everywhere. So it's an interesting store to look at, especially if you're not used to kind of the advertisement style in these countries. It tends to be a lot, like brighter and kind of chaotic compared to in the US. We also have Don Donki in Singapore, and what I like to do there is get the sushi. The menu here is a little bit different because they don't have the ready-made sushis and bentos, it seems, like in Singapore, but it has kind of everything else that's pretty similar. I entered this random building which had a few cell phone and electronic stores. They all seemed to do pretty much the same thing, or to sell pretty much the same thing, which is cell phone services. I was looking for an SD card here, but it was pretty overpriced, so I decided to look elsewhere. I needed an SD card for my drone, so my drone was missing it when I came to Taiwan, and I ended up going all the way through Ximending again and to this street called Camera Street in kind of the Ximending area. They had way more reasonable prices, so going down the store you could see, going down the street rather, you could see random camera stores. Basically, they were kind of aligned to the different camera brands like Sony, Canon, Nikon, and I stopped by this store. Fortunately, I'm not sure of the name, but they gave me a good deal on the SD card. So at this point, my friends from high school had come to Taiwan, were here, so I went back to the main area in Ximending to meet up. You can see it's kind of getting closer towards the evening time here. Since I think they hadn't been in this area yet during this trip here, we went through Ximending again. You can see some of the lights turning on since it's closer to evening, and we just kind of walked through and just looked at some of the stores here. And here's my friend. He's actually, his family's from Taiwan, and he's kind of pointing out something interesting, rather, in this area. So, yep, very mature of us, of course, to laugh at that. In this scene, we're kind of having a bit of a vlogception where I'm vlogging as she's also vlogging here. She has will have a video up on Taiwan, so I'll link that in one of my videos as well when that's ready. This area definitely seemed popular with the students in the area. Definitely see it being a popular after-school hangout spot, just with the food and the shopping here kind of being catered. Probably cheaper too. You can see a snack street here, for example, so you can grab your food and walk around. At this point, we end up walking all the way to Don Donki again because I wanted to show them this crazy store I found. It's pretty, it's everywhere in Asia. Singapore, Japan, Taiwan has it, but it's not in LA or in North America as far as I know. So we checked out some very interesting sections in this store. There's a lot of toys, so if you're into kind of those Japanese toys, they have a huge section, and a lot of things I think are hard to find in the US. So at this point, this is kind of the end of our first half of the day one, and we check out dinner and then a night market in the next video.